Hello all, welcome to our channel. In this video, we'll be seeing about RESTful Web Services important interview questions and answers. Here we'll be discussing starting from web service, types of web service, SOAP, REST and RESTful concepts, and then JAX-RS, JAX-WS, JAX-RS implementations and some annotations in JAX-RS. So please watch this video without skipping. Hope this will be helpful for you. Let's start. What is web service and mention its advantages? In real world, we may want to interact between different applications. All these different applications, they need not to be written in the same programming language. They can be either Java, .NET or Python, but we want to interact between them. So in that case, web service will be helpful. So web service is a technology used to communicate between different applications written in different programming language. Example, we have one application written in Java and another application written in .NET. Means to interact between these two applications we can use web services. Advantages are, first advantage is interoperability. That is, since web service is used for interacting between different applications written in different programming languages, that is called interoperability. So that is one advantage. Then reusability. This same web service we can use for example, now we have Java.NET, right? Similarly, if we have another application written in Python also, this same web service we can reuse. So that is reusability. Then loose coupling. So here we are not like attaching to any programming language or any application specific like that. We are not creating any web service. So it is loose coupling. Then easy to deploy and integrate. What are the types of web services? There are two types of web services. First one is SOAP web service, another one is RESTful web service. So SOAP web service means it is an XML based protocol for accessing web services. We'll be seeing more about this in detail. Now let's for understanding about like in general, it is like a XML based protocol. RESTful web service means it is an architectural style runs on HTTP protocol. So SOAP is a protocol, whereas RESTful web service is an architectural style, and this RESTful web service will use HTTP protocol. What is SOAP? Mention its advantages and disadvantages. SOAP expansion is Simple Object Access Protocol, and it is an XML based protocol. As we saw earlier, it is used for accessing web services. So a protocol is nothing but some kind of standard procedures it will be following. So that is XML based protocol it is following. Then it follows WSDL document which provides contract and technical details. So here this is like a standard document, and this standard document only this SOAP protocol it will follow. So that will we need to provide contract and technical details at the beginning of the project itself if you are using this SOAP protocol. Advantages of it is, since it follows this WSDL document, it is an industry standard approach. Then it will be more secure since it is standardized. On the other hand, disadvantages are, only XML can be used. JSON and other formats are not supported. But in nowadays most of the applications are following like JSON and other formats only. So this is like a disadvantage. Then need to follow WSDL document structure. So that is also like tight coupling. What is REST and RESTful web service? Expansion of REST is representational state transfer, and it uses HTTP protocol. If you try to communicate between different applications, then we, instead of passing the actual object, we can pass state or value of the object. So that value should have some structure. So that is called representational. So representational state transfer means it is like we are passing the state of an object with some structure. So that structure can be either JSON, XML, like that. This is standardized, so we can like both the applications can understand each other. So this REST is an architectural style for developing applications that can be accessed over network. This REST has some principles within that. And RESTful web service means it is one that implements this REST pattern that follows all the principles of this REST is RESTful web service. Advantages are it can return the result in the form of JSON or XML, whatever we want, we can expect the result. And no contract between client and server, so it is loosely coupled. Disadvantage is since no contract is followed, it is not standardized as SOAP. And no session maintained as it is stateless. Difference between SOAP and REST web services. We saw about each of them separately. Now let's compare and understand more. So SOAP, it is a protocol. REST is an architectural style. That is, it will have some principles within that, and other implementations, it will follow this architecture of REST. Then SOAP expansion is simple object access protocol. REST expansion is representational state transfer. SOAP cannot use REST because it is a protocol, whereas REST can use SOAP because it is just an architectural style only. So SOAP defines standards to be strictly followed. Since it follows this WSDL document, so it follows these standards, whereas REST does not define too much standards like SOAP. SOAP permits XML data format only, whereas REST permits different data formats such as plain text, HTML, XML, JSON, etc. SOAP is more secure, REST is less secure. So it depends upon our requirement. Based on these advantages and disadvantages of SOAP and REST, we can compare and choose the web service. What is statelessness in RESTful web service? In general, statelessness means if a client is sending request to server, then the server no need to remember that previous request of that. Each request will be treated independently. It will not store any data within that. So whatever request we are sending, it will send response according to that, and then it will forget. So it will not store any data. That is called statelessness. Statelessness means that every HTTP request happens in complete isolation. When the client makes an HTTP request, it includes all the information necessary for the server to fulfill that request. So each time client should be sending all the required informations. Now let's see what are the advantages of this. The server never relies on information from previous requests. So since each request is treated independently, the server never relies on that previous request. That is an advantage. Then this will make the REST API as less complex. What are the core components of HTTP request? While sending any HTTP request, there are 5 core components to be considered. First one is HTTP version. So what is the version of that HTTP request? That is main. So for example, HTTP version 1.1. This is one core component. Another one is verb. So what is the method of that HTTP request? Example, get, post, put, delete. So these all are methods of HTTP request. Then URI. URI means Uniform Resource Identifier. So it is a kind of like a unique thing. This will be helpful for identifying that resource on server. So we'll be seeing more about this in detail later. Next, request header. This request header, it will contain metadata for HTTP request message such as key value pairs. So if you want to send any request, now what kind of request this it will accept or what it will produce. So those things we can pass as a key value pair. So example, format supported by client, whether it will like accept application JSON or a text, plain text only, it will accept this request. Like that we can pass that in the request header. Then request body. So if you want to pass many information at once as a request means, then we can use this request body and send that as at once instead of passing each thing as the parameters. What is the resource in RESTful web services? If you are developing any application, first thing what we need to consider is what are the resources required for that application. That is, resources are the basic building block for any RESTful web service. How we can access this resource means with the help of URLs, and also we can perform some operations on these resources by using HTTP methods such as get, put, post, delete. By using this, we can perform some CRUD operations. To understand it better, let's see one example. Let's consider an online bookstore application. If you think what is the resource required for this means, first thing will be books. So by using these books, like we can order that, or we can have some collection of users, and these users will be ordering it, so we can perform some operations on that. So this is the example for resource. If you see this URL, http localhost 8080/user. So here user is the resource. What is URI and URL in REST-based web service? These two terms will be somewhat confusing. Now let's compare and understand them. First, URI means Uniform Resource Identifiers. We saw about resource. It is the basic building block for any web service. And to access this resource, we want something called URI. So this URI is used to identify the resource either by name or address of the resource. And this URI has two subsets within that, URL and URN. URL means Uniform Resource Locator. URN means Uniform Resource Name. So if you are trying to access the resource based on like its address means, then it is called URL. By name, if you are trying to access, then URN. Mostly preferred one is URL only. Since it is used to locate the resource based on address, it will be more unique. Example, http localhost 8080/user. So here user is the resource. What are the core components of HTTP response? There are 4 core components. First one is HTTP version. This is also similar to HTTP request. This will indicate version of HTTP. Then response body. It is used to represent the response message content. So in HTTP request we have request body. So similar to that, here we have response body. Then response header. This will consist of metadata like content length and server length for the HTTP response message. So all these components are applicable for HTTP response. Then status or response code. This is one of the important component, since this will indicate the server status for the requested resource, whether that response is 200 or 400. So what is the status of that? This will be helpful for identifying that. What is the purpose of HTTP status code? As we saw earlier, this HTTP status code is one of the core component of HTTP response. HTTP status codes are standard response codes given by web servers. So with the help of this HTTP status code, we can identify if there is any problem when a resource does not load properly. If you are getting any errors, we can identify that with the help of this HTTP status code. So there are different kinds of status codes. First one is 1xx. It is used to indicate whether it will give some information about the response. So 1xx simply means like we have it's like series of 101, 102 like that. We have series of hundreds. Then 2xx. 2xx simply means it is a success message. So here also we have 200, 201, 202 like that messages. In general, 2xx means it is success message. Then 3xx. 3xx indicates redirection. So this will indicate client must take some additional action in order to complete the request. Then 4xx. This is used to indicate client error. So there is some problem in the client side. If you are getting some 5x means, then this is used to indicate that there is some problem in the server side. So with the help of these status codes, we can identify the cause of problem when resource does not load properly. What is JAX-WS and JAX-RS? Both JAX-WS and JAX-RS are Java APIs. In addition to that, JAX-WS is a Java API for XML based web services. That is, it will follow SOAP based protocol. Whereas JAX-RS is for RESTful web services. What are the implementations of JAX-RS API? JAX-RS API is a Java API for RESTful web services, and it is a specification. So we need to implement that. Some of the popular implementations are Jersey, Apache CXF, Jetty, and RESTEC. What are the HTTP methods supported by REST? These HTTP methods are used to perform some operations on the resource, that is some CRUD operations. Some of the popular HTTP methods are, first one is get. It is used to get the resource from URI, used for reading purpose. Then delete. It will delete the specified resources. Then put. It is used to create or update the resource, but mostly it is preferred for update only. Then post. It is used to create new resource. Then head. It is similar to get method only, except message body is not returned in the response, and it is used for getting metadata information about the resource. Idempotent and non-idempotent operations of RESTful web services. Idempotent. A HTTP method is idempotent if the same request is made once or several times. It will produce the same result, and it is also called safe operation. So if you are trying to call the resource multiple times also, it will not cause any problem. Example, get, put, delete. If you are trying to call the same resource by using this get method, means each time it will not change the resource. Each time it will be producing the same result. So that is idempotent method. Similarly, non-idempotent method means if the same request is made multiple times by using this HTTP method, then it will change the end result each time. So it will affect that resource. So we should be very careful while using this non-idempotent method. Now, example, post. This post is used to create new resource. So each time when we are calling this post method, it will create new resource. So it will affect that end resource. So we should be very careful in using this post. And also, to see the difference between put and post, if you see, like put is used like when we are calling multiple times also, it will not cause any problem. But post, it will create new resource each time. That is why put is used for, even though it can create, but it is used mostly preferred for updating purpose. Post is preferred for creating new resource. Difference between @path_param and @query_param. @path_param, it is used to read the value from path, that is part of URI. Since it is a part of URI, it is a required parameter. Example, we have taken one user resource and we are trying to get a user like that resource based on the user ID. So we have passed that as the path of URI. So here user ID is the path variable. Then @query_param. It is used to read the values from query parameters of a URI call. Here we will be passing it as a key value pair. And it is an optional parameter, and ignoring it will not cause any problem. Example is same user resource we have taken, and how to represent this means question mark size equal to 10. So that like key value pair, size is the key here and 10 is the value, and it is optional parameter. If you see, both of them look similar, but when to use which means like @path_param, by seeing our example, we are trying to get the user ID, like we are trying to fetch the resource based on user ID. So that is like mandatory thing. So we should be passing that as a path param. And next one, query param example we have taken, size equal to 10. So we can change size also, and if you are not passing any size also, it will fetch the entire result. So that is not removing this will not cause any problem. So like this requirements, we can put this as a query parameters. Difference between @consumes and @produces. @consumes means it will specify what MIME type a resource will accept from the client. So what kind of media type it will accept. Example like application JSON or plain text or application XML. So what kind of data it will accept. That will be like we can mention with that with the help of @consumes. Similarly, @produces means it will specify what type of MIME it can provide to the client. So example is a resource might accept applications JSON that we can represent with the help of @consumes, and it can return text, plain text. So that we can represent with the help of @producers. Okay viewers, we came to end of this video. We have discussed almost all the important questions. If you have any queries or suggestions, please mention that in the comment section. And if you like this video, please like and please subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.